Hello and welcome to episode number 59 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast version 2. We are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers, and now we are 2 hours longer. It is the week of August 5th. My name is Daryl, and once again, as always, for version 2, I am joined by Sergio. How are you, man?
Hey man, I'm doing doubly amazingly. It's been a good week. Double the fun.
Fair enough. And also, I mean, you know him, you love him. Kevin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing just decent, and you are both loved as well. How are you doing, Daryl?
I'm okay. I am feeling very version 2-y.
V2.
Whatever that means. I may download things faster. Who knows? It's hard to tell. Yeah, so I did end up picking up a Switch version 2, and
nice.
I am still kind of just going through the process of getting all my stuff onto it, so I don't have much to say about it yet, other than GameStop had one, and they're offering a really good trade-in value for the old Switch model, which is probably going to expire right after this episode comes out, so run over to them. They'll give you a couple $100 for your old system, which is honestly better than Amazon. So there you go.
Yeah.
Man, Amazon, what y'all doing? You got, I guess the GameStop's here.
Yeah, we have a real love-hate relationship with GameStop as gamers. We have a real love-hate, but every once in a while they come through with this crazy trade deal. So they're actually offering $200 cash for old Switch models, which is kind of unheard of. That's awesome. Really cool.
Cool. Well, with that being said, we are going to do something that we haven't done in a long time. We're going to do some listener mail. I was thinking about Blue's Clues when I was a little kid at one point. I'm like, I don't know, because I was thinking about the mail thing. I don't know if you watched that show. But I was thinking about, I know I'm going off tangent, but I was thinking about Blue's Clues. It's a really
less than 5 minutes in. Here we go.
Yeah, it was a really good show when I was a really little kid, and then I was thinking about how they sing the mail time thingamabobber, whatever have you, and I just try to incorporate that. Okay, so listener mail. That is exactly what we're gonna do. We have a bunch of questions, and we're just gonna pick and choose the ones that we want to answer. Back and forth between the three of us. Sergio, we're going to start with you. What would you like to start with first?
All right. Well, let's start with Dragon. This is an interesting one. So, Dragon asks, what are each of your thoughts on leaks in leak culture in general? And I guess we'll just assume that it's about games only. Oh, man. I am against leaks. I prefer not to find out a lot of things. Like, even for the games that I like, Pokemon got a couple of new Pokemon announced earlier this week, but back in the day, for example, for Sun and Moon, I didn't even know the names of the 3 starters. I managed to not know their names or what they were. It's pretty cool when you're able to have a series or a game that you're really looking forward to, and you can go basically in blackout mode and not know anything about it. But I feel like it's a lot harder to do that nowadays. I mean, not only that we do podcasting, we have to cover game news or just at least discuss it a little bit. But even if we weren't, like, even for people that don't do podcasts, we're so connected online and with social media and everything. I think it's really hard to avoid spoilers, and especially if it's like a self-imposed spoiler type of thing.
Yeah, it is. And so there's a few differences here. For one, I don't really consider knowing which characters end up in a fighting game a spoiler per se. I know some people do. So as you know, a new Smash game is coming out, or as we're awaiting the last couple DLC characters in this batch, uh, it might be considered a spoiler if somebody's being leaked or talked about or something. I really don't. I eat all of that up. I kind of love it. It takes a little bit away from the surprise of the game's announcement itself, so I feel a little bit bad for the developers themselves. But I love like rumors and speculations, and this, you know, the color of the chairs in this Nintendo Direct means that Waluigi's going to be playable. You know, silly stuff that I kind of get into just loving that. Now that said, if it is story driven, so for instance, anything Fire Emblem, no, I've gone on blackout mode, and I'm pretty happy about that. Because the story's awesome. So yeah, it's two different things for me. So most of the time, like you see leaks for Smash and here and there. The only thing that really does bother me is when people call something a leak when it is literally just like somebody posting on the internet like, I think this might happen. Like, no, that's not a. Come on. But
Well,
I don't know. I get caught up in the fun of that as kind of the fun leading up to a Smash game or whatever.
Yeah, you know, I share the same sentiments, honestly. The rumors, the speculations, those are always, it's like, it's kind of like, you know, just, it's nice to hear, you know, because you get excited, you get, you know, hyped up and stuff, and you want to, you know, the suspense is coming, and you just want to know, you know, but curiosity killed the cat, and especially, well, as an old saying, when it comes to the story, you know, I don't want to hear anything about it, you know, I just, like, there was, I think, a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago, around the time when Fire Emblem came out, there was an article on 4chan, as I've heard, that pretty much spoiled the entire story. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to look at that because I don't want to ruin my life. You know, I still like my life. I'm kidding. No, I do like my life. But I don't want to just spoil it in that way because, you know, it just kills the... I mean, it just kills the appetite of playing the game. Like, why would you do that? And I could see why people want to look at the leaks and stuff and be able to like, oh wow, just gotta know. But I mean, there's gotta be some control. Like, just don't bother to read the spoilers. You know, just I mean, because I mean, okay, maybe it's not easy for a lot of people, but I think that you know it's better in the long run. So, rumor speculations, I'm awesome with that. When it comes to story spoilers or just, you know, I can't dig it because, and another thing too is like when you have developers, you have like these people, these, you know, the graphic designers, just these artists, these developers, anybody working on the games, even the testers who work in the games, like they work so hard to make a game that, you know, that ideally they want people to enjoy without being spoiled, you know, like, and I think when there's that leak culture that happens and you know, people start to like get information before they should have, I think it hurts the morale of the people behind the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I can and I can empathize with that because, you know, the ideal is to have a game that comes out and just be surprised each time you know, as you go, you know, and you discover new things in the game. And I think as a gamer, that is one of the best things to do when you play the game. You want to be surprised. You want that shock factor. That is the key. That surprise factor, that shock factor, to be as high as possible. Because if you ruin the game for yourself and you look at the leaks, it's just not going to be the same. You're going to feel bad and you're going to hate life. Honestly, I'm not sorry about that. You're going to hate life for that because you don't want to ruin, you know, just the fun that you can have if you leak the game to yourselves. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is why I'm against the leak culture in that sense. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, when it's specific to a game, I can definitely agree with you. I think what's even worse though, it's when we find out about games that aren't even announced because of a leak, and that happens a lot during E3. You know,
Yeah.
the week or a few days before E3. It's happened so many times. To Nintendo, not so much, but I remember for sure when they were gonna first show the launch lineup for the Switch, and there was a pretty big leak that pretty much leaked everything, like a lot of details about all of the
Right.
games they showed. I think it was like a day before, and I read everything, and I thought, well, this is interesting, but it sounds like a little bit made up. And turns out a lot of it was right, like pretty much everything. And it took away a lot of the magic. I think that uh, it's very tricky. I mean, I know people get their hands on the info, and they want to maybe get a little bit of taste of fame, or I called it, or I have this, might as well share it. But I mean,
Mm.
it's definitely better if people don't do that. It's better for everyone.
And the kind of interesting difference here is anytime a game is kind of intentionally leaked, for one reason or another,
Oh.
a company will actually let their game info get out there just to start rumors. I am almost convinced at this point that that's what happened with Mario and Rabbids. That
Mm.
was so heavily leaked and rumored, and everybody knew about it, and it was like the worst kept secret. But honestly, I think it helped the game in general. For the
Mm.
leaks to come out and everybody go, "What the? What is this? No, I don't want this." And then for the game to actually be a pleasant surprise when it actually was revealed, and people went, "Oh, well, that's cool." I think that the overall message of that game being leaked and then being revealed in the way it was with Miyamoto on stage and showing some awesome strategy gameplay actually helped the game. So that was kind of, from time to time, I think there is some like strategic leaking that does happen, and we just live in a crazy world. I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I'm trying to say, I think.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a good point. Actually, looking at Mario Rabbids, I mean, if if that was their intention to have that sort of leak, then that is totally fine in my eyes because that was their decision, and it paid off really well.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
if we had just gotten to the actual reveal there without hearing anything about the game, we would have spent the first at least half of that reveal going through the same emotions we did already. Like
Right.
why are we doing? No, this is bad, and then that would sway the entire game. Getting that out in text form and then showing you a really cool game. I don't know. I think that's it's definitely interesting. It's kind of preying
Mm.
into uh, those of us who just love information and constantly seek it.
I mean, we live in a very internet centric world. I mean, it's really easy to just find all the information that we may or may not want to hear or see, and I think that it's important to just have a balance. I and with games, I guess it just I'm gonna say right now, case by case basis. With Mario Rabbids, good case. They want to get a little bit, and boom, it paid off. But I think for other games that they want to keep it close to the vest, it sucks when they get that like their game does leak because then they want it to be a surprise, and I think it's just we have to take it as that. So
All right, Kevin, you want the next question?
hell yeah! All right, the next question. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so by Shy Guy, if you could design a game, which genre would you pick and why? Ooh. Mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
So I have this recurring fantasy of designing a game that is kind of like envision like top-down Zelda game.
Mm.
Uh, but I mean, and I'm cringing as I say this, but honestly, battle royale, like
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
top-down Zelda battle royale type game with a ton of players, all in that format. I think it would be a lot of fun, to be honest. And I think about it quite a lot for some reason, and just especially if you got like upgradable items around the map and things like that, and you could all find each other and fight each other and stuff. That would be. I would definitely play that game.
No, that would be a pretty good one. And I mean, like with Nintendo, like on the Switch, they have like a similar battle royale game in terms of like in Tetris. And if they were to make it into a Zelda format, like wow, that would be. I would drop. I would drop most games that I would think about playing just for that. So, oh.
Nice. I think if I had the time, mostly the time, and also, the resources, I think I could come up with a really cool adventure game, meaning something like the Zero Escape series, something a
Mm.
little like on the mature side. I don't want it to be just adventure like most of those games are. I want a little something, a little gameplay. I would say a little more than something like Phoenix Wright offers. I just want a little extra, but the story would be. I think I would hope that I would make it really interesting. And you bet, uh, some of the characters would die. Not a few, a bunch.
Goodness.
Would it have KK Slider?
No, I don't think he would fit
Okay.
in there.
Yes, some of the characters would die. Also, there's Animal Crossing. No, don't do this.
No.
Don't mix.
No, man.
Okay.
For me, man, this one's an easy one. Oh my goodness. It would be like an Ocean's 11 anime style thief heist combined with Lupin the Third style type of game. It would be just like this grand old this grand old time of just 11 people, going on this heist. And it's gonna be multiple heists, in different parts of a fictional world, and whether it's bringing to a casino or trying to steal the greatest treasure that has been kept for like the past 100,000 years. I don't know why I chose that number, but it just sounds majestic. Now, it would just have all these heists and these plot lines of like betrayal, like, oh man, you betrayed us, and we gotta do something about that, and I don't know, it would just be this 235-hour adventure of like just these 11 people that they grow up together and they steal the greatest treasures of all, and then at the same time they do good in the community, and I don't know, just like like a melting pot of just these things. But it has to be a thief heist type of game. I will not compromise on that because I love that genre, and I love Ocean's 11. So shout out to Ocean's 11, one of the best movies of all time, my absolute favorite. So, and Ocean's 11, I mean the new one. I know there's the old one with Frank Sinatra, blah. I know it's a classic, but I gotta go with the ones with George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I gotta put that movie in there. Bam. So that's my answer.
So Cube writes in, what games would you choose to introduce someone younger / your age / your parents' age to gaming, and why? So
Ooh.
this is kind of an interesting question because the Switch has allowed a lot of us to kind of introduce some new people to gaming, and I did. I've done that. Both people my age and people my parents' age. Actually, my mom. Actually,
Oh.
so it's an interesting question because a lot of people, you see people posting a lot. What game should I introduce my kid to? And you always get the suggestions of, well, Yoshi, that's a pretty easy game. They'll pick up on it. And Kirby, that's got a kid-friendly mode and such. And I always think back to, I started out with like Mega Man. Like I started out with like hard games, and like not that I'm trying to do the back in my age, but I would say at least with kids, maybe don't underestimate them because they get bored too. So maybe give them something that you might at the outset you might think it's a little harder than it needs to be for them. Because I think that kids have nothing but a lot of time and a lot of patience generally, and it kind of builds that a little bit for them to just keep playing a game that may be a little hard, but it's not it's not bad. So I'm all for team get your kids playing Celeste as soon as possible, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and all of those games. All of that. For people our age, so this is where it depends on if they're a gamer or not. If they're a gamer, you really want to show them, these are the games that you could be playing on this system, that kind of scenario.
Right.
Like I really like showing people Overcooked. Actually, I think Overcooked is a fantastic game to just kind of plop down on a table with a bunch of people who've never played before and say, okay, you have 2 buttons, figure it out. It turns into a lot of fun. Just I really like introducing people to like kind of the quick and easy, jump in. The controls are not that bad, so you can explain it to a bunch of people all at once. That's really fun to me. Or if they're actual gamers, show them Breath of the Wild, show them Smash Brothers, that kind of thing. And for me, for your parents or your parents' age who maybe aren't into video games at all, this is where I go with kind of the more experimental route. Like, I got my parents playing Snipper Clips together, and it was
yes.
really,
Nice.
really fun to watch. Because my mom, she way like a long time ago, she and my dad would go to arcades and such and play games like Rally X and old school arcade games, but really hasn't gamed at all since then. So that's where you definitely want to show them this is how silly games are now, and you guys figure out how to make the cuts and actually get the stuff to the goal, and then you try not to help them too much. Let them figure it out a little bit. Give them a game that's a little more abstract and interesting, a little bit outside of the quote unquote playing a video game style, and I think that works out pretty well in my experience.
Those are really good choices, and I have to agree with, with just the choices you made with like our age, and I also want to add that for like someone younger, I'm gonna go with a Zelda game and not Breath of the Wild. Not Breath of the Wild. I would go with even though it's like a really awesome game, I would go with a game like like one of the original Zelda games. I think that would be a great introduction. Just because when you have like this classic of Zelda games that you used to play when you were a lot younger, and then in terms of like graphics, you set the expectation low. You introduce them to a classic, and then you slowly get them to something more high graphical like Breath of the Wild, or in between Ocarina of Time, which is obviously you have to play that. I would start that. I would start with the the original Zelda games, just because it's like you're young, you're on an adventure, and it's not too difficult, but there's a lot to do, and who doesn't want to use a sword? Okay, there is no kid I've ever like met who would say, "Ugh, I don't want to use a sword." Like, no, that does not exist. If a kid says that, they're not a kid. So I'm just saying, but no, but I would.
I still kind of want to use a sword there, Kevin.
You don't want to use a sword.
I'm not sure that's age restricted. I just think swords are cool, man.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know any kid who doesn't want to use a sword. It's like an inherent object that just it signifies strength, power, and the possibilities to become stronger in life. I could be making that up, but that's how I felt in my eyes. So take it as it is. For someone who's older, I would say that one's hard, because then there are a number of good family games out there. No, we're not talking about 1-2 Switch. I know. I would think something like, I think Mario Kart would be good. Especially when you play, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they have the accessibility options to auto accelerate and auto steer, and I think that might be a good introduction to like how wacky a racing game can be. I think the impact of it is awesome. Overcooked 2, I have to agree, it's probably the best family style, like older generation type of game that you can get your family into. Like, it's 2 buttons, right? And like, gosh, there's so much fun that you can get out of it. Like, even when I played it with my friends back home, I just had one friend who just like kept using the fire extinguisher, and he just tries to, just doesn't do much, and goes 360 for like the last 30 seconds. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, oh, you just want to have fun, and just want to troll and stuff. So,
Which is okay too.
which is okay, yeah.
Also,
And
don't sleep on Mario Tennis. Mario Tennis is a great family game.
it is. I recommend Mario Tennis Aces too, and since they have doubles, oh my goodness, it is really fun.
Yeah, I remember playing in doubles against a computer with my granddad. Like,
Oh yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, it's not that hard of a game. It's really accessible. It feels really good. So,
Mm,
I wouldn't sleep on Mario Tennis at all.
for sure. And last but not least, our age. Celeste is a good choice. It's gonna be a stretch, and it may be a little bit overwhelming, but if there's a remote chance that that person that you're introducing to, loves a good story and loves characters, Fire Emblem, like, but take it really slow. Don't just like, oh yeah, well you have to know this and that, all that stuff, and min max, stats and all that jazz. Now just, let them. You're a professor, and you have your students, and who doesn't want to be a professor with students that you can like make them stronger and fight and stuff and
Most current professors.
right.
I apologize to all current professors. You know it's true, though.
It's true. Shout out to professors. We love most of you. Anyway, so that's Fire Emblem. I would recommend it for our age. Okay, that's it.
Nice. Well, just to add a few of my own, I would say to introduce someone older, I think One to Switch is viable. I know.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I know my mom, and I knew she would kind of like the baby one, even though she thought it was weird, and it is.
Oh
But
my.
yeah, that was interesting. And for kids, basically, I think it's really nice for a young person to start out playing games with an RPG. A lighthearted RPG, something like the Chocobo games, like Final Fantasy Maxima, World of Final Fantasy Maxima. Something that has a nice story, nothing too crazy. It has nice characters, a little bit of humor there too, because it's like a cartoon, but it's a game that has a lot of value and that the kid is going to be playing for a long time. So they can really get into this world and into the game itself, of course, but also the story. It gives them a little bit of everything, and I think it's a nice introduction to playing games.
That's a good call.
And as for someone our age, I think if we just give them the creme de la creme basically for every genre. You want a good open world game? Well, here's Zelda, basically the best one of those.
Yes.
If you want a really good Mario game, here's Odyssey. Like, you give them the AAA stuff because I feel like they're the most that are going to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I want to point out one thing. We did not, none of the three of us mentioned Mario Party for any of this. And I want to say that may seem like a great idea for everybody. It is a trap. Mario Party will teach everyone that they hate video games. So don't do that. Play Mario Party after you've already kind of built up the resistance to video game stupidity. You don't want that to be the introduction. So, for anybody out there listening, just a public service announcement, Mario Party is not a great introduction to video games overall.
I could not have said it better myself. It is like you just don't play that as your first game. Like, what are you doing if you do that? Like, just no, don't do that. Like,
like you go to introduce your friends to, hey, look at this new Mario Party game. You guys have never played that. Oh, look, I got a random star. Look, I've won every mini game thus far. Yeah, it doesn't end that well. It really just doesn't.
I'm hearing friendship breaking. I'm hearing family breaking. Maybe. I mean, it's not a good time. And I apologize for those who have Mario Party and think it's great for their first game. Nah, it's just not. Nah, I don't think so. But if you want to write to us about Mario Party and how awesome it is the first game, don't waste your time. We're not gonna.
We're not listening to you.
We're not listening to you.
Wow.
No.
Wow, what a jerk statement, but
I know,
it's totally true.
I know. I'm unapologetic, but for your own good, play Mario Party when you're more familiar with games in general, and you have some games that you really like, so that you can buffer, with Mario Party. Now, with that being said, I think. Okay, the previous Mario Party games they were decent.
Same problem. Nope.
Same problem.
The games are good, and I'm not trying to crap on the games, but they're not good introductions to gaming because
they are not.
You will really anger some people. But I'm gonna move it. That was meant to be a short joke. But anyways.
Oh yeah, I think I got a little carried away. So,
Sergio, you want to take the next question?
Yes, I really like this question. This is by Lama Libre. He asks, if you were a professor in Three Houses, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and you didn't have to teach your child soldiers about war, what would you want to teach them?
Oh,
I'm gonna go with math.
math.
Yes, because
Nice.
I miss math. I don't get to do a lot of it at my current job, and I think it is fun. And I would make it fun for everyone. I would make it my mission to make everyone in my class be excited about math class. And that sounds really challenging, and I'm up for the challenge. I would make it very interactive. Everyone would want to go to my math class.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna teach Felix the swordsman how to derive equations. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I think in Fire Emblem specifically, it does say if you were a professor in Three Houses. So I'm assuming we're talking about these characters. I think these characters really need a dose of humanities. I really do, and just kind of an overall culture study, and get all the characters
Hmm.
discussing things that can bring them all together as people. I think it does a pretty good job of having a bunch of different cultures and point of views and such. But yeah, I think a class like that would be super interesting to teach to these particular people because they come from everywhere. They have very strong opinions about everything, and yeah, a little dose of perspective may be a fun thing.
Let me tell you guys about the long lost art of the weapon triangle.
Yeah.
Yo, that would be
I
great.
want to
I would.
teach them about previous Fire Emblem games. In the other games, I would be trying to get all of you guys married to have kids who are really good and overpowered,
Oh
but not in
man,
this game.
so much shipping. I cannot. I can't stand it.
I don't actually care about the relationships here. I just want the superpowered children. That's all I want.
Oh my goodness, man! Shout out to children. Like,
That was such a cool mechanic, and I am so happy it's gone.
oh, thank goodness. Well, you talk about math, you talk about humanity. I'm gonna talk about how to be a gentleman thief, a lady thief, just thieves. Because when you want to, if you want to be awesome in life, you want to steal the greatest treasures in the world, but still, but to bring that and give back to your community, in a way that helps you become a, a great contributor to society. So I would teach my students how to be great thieves, but don't kill anybody. Don't injure them. Be like Arsene Lupin. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be the world's greatest thieves and travel all around the world and make it and just go through all these challenges of like stealing the greatest treasures, and at the same time you're gonna learn a lot of history. I mean, we're talking about Uncharted too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just you're gonna learn about history with the artifacts that you're gonna steal. Now it sounds really bad, but you're not killing anybody, so it's all good. You're not harming anybody. You're doing it in a very uh.
Theft is bad too, right?
It's
Like,
it
we're not
now.
only talking about killing people as being bad.
Well. I mean,
For the record,
here's
Nintendo
the
Jump Podcast does not condone acts of thievery to any of our listeners. Please
we
don't.
we don't. But I think it just plays into my favorite thing about these. But I'm saying be like a Robin Hood, but in a very sneaky way. You want to be that Ocean's 11. thing. I'm not gonna take I'm not taking back my answer.
Did you watch that movie in the past like 3 days?
I
Just
did
wondering.
not. I have not watched it since last year. So I mean,
You have the urge to go watch it again. So
I probably would, but for real though, I would want. I think I would want my my students to learn how to be a good thief without harming anyone, but at the same time not get their stuff stolen. Because if you're gonna be a good thief,
Oh.
you got to make sure that your stuff is protected. Like you got to make sure that you know where your stuff is, and if you can be other thieves that are trying to be bad. You're a good thief. That's all that matters. So.
Oh, nice.
okay.
Okay. I know it's going off the rails, but I am so.
It's about the fourth time.
I know. I know. There might be a theme here. I'm not sure. You guys can tell.
Well, it's a
but-
listener mail episode. It's all off the rails. So,
Okay.
I mean, we're good. Hey,
Okay.
Kevin, take the next question.
I will take the next one. And
If you were a gentleman thief, wait, that's not a question.
Oh man. Okay, we'll do a different sideway type of spiel here. We're gonna go with shell shock. Who are your biggest podcast inspirations or influences? And if I may, I got a good answer for this. I mentioned on Discord, like I really want to talk about a few of them. They are not gaming related. They are not.
Hmm.
My biggest one in particular is the Pull Up Pod by CJ McCollum. He is my favorite basketball NBA player right now. You know, very articulate, and he just when he talks to different basketball players and like even and other NBA related players or NBA related like people, you know, he has a very conversational style. I really enjoy it, and I get a lot of tips from that. I think that he speaks in a way where it makes you feel comfortable, and still has a personality that matches, and then that's what I try to do. Although I feel like I do want to try to enunciate better with my words, so he does it really well. So that's my biggest inspiration. That and another NBA star, JJ Redick, who I first started listening. That was the first podcast he did a podcast about just basketball and like other things related, and he was my first inspiration. I just love the way both of those guys were able to connect with their interviewees. So those are my two, and actually one, and then another one would be someone that that started podcast a while back, and I was actually a guest on his podcast. Cody Talks. His name is Cody Wong, Koty. Shout out to Cody. He would interview different people like from different occupations, and then I got brought onto the show for one time. If you would like the link, I can link it to y'all. It was, I think, what we recorded a few years ago, and it was a chance for me to talk about programming, piano, writing lyrics or rap on my Instagram. If you haven't seen it, you probably should. And just trying to get me more comfortable and more exposed to talking about these things in the public setting. Because before I was not comfortable, but now, and with 58 episodes of the Nintendo Jump podcast with you guys under our belts, I think at this point, it's to the point where, I look back, I think about those three people, those three inspirations, and okay, I know it's an extended answer. One more thing, not a podcast inspiration, but an influence. Kevin Hart, one of my favorite people I've never met in my life. He doesn't have like the cleanest jokes. He's not the funniest guy, but his execution is brilliant. Like the way he finishes each joke, like I just love his mannerisms. The way he's so enthusiastic and able to just, and like even some of the things like with that being said, I got that from him, and like just the little tidbits that, I mean, maybe in regular speech it may sound kind of off, but when you're trying to talk about things on the fly or you're trying to present something, it gives you that split second to really gather yourself and to, talk about what you're going to say next. Kevin Hart is amazing, and I may not think his comedy is the funniest, but I think in execution wise he is one of the best, and I will stand by it for the rest of my life. That's my answer.
Oh, nice. Well, as most of you know, I am in two podcasts, and you would think I listen to at least two podcasts, but I actually don't. I only really listen to one podcast like very regularly, and that is the Go Nintendo podcast, which is
Ooh.
run by Raw Meat Cowboy, or his initials are MC. His real name is Kevin Cassidy, and in a way, yes, he is very inspiring because his podcast is very listener focused. It's all about the listeners. He's always thinking of ways to introduce the listeners into the podcast, into every little section that they do, and I feel like if in the podcast that I'm the listener involvement is key, and it's one of my favorites. And another thing that they do really well is that they embrace sidebars like crazy. They go off topic all the time, and they go like in the funniest conversations that are off topic, but they kind of build into their own sort of legendary moments and hilarious ideas and things that come up. It's basically going with the flow, and I think that's a very nice thing to do in general, like in life, but in podcasts for sure.
Mm.
You swerved me there. I totally thought you were going to list yourself as your biggest influence. I was really looking forward to that, but
No.
oh man, you should have. You really should have.
I would have vouched for that.
Yeah, for me, I listen to a few podcasts that I really do like. So real quick, Radio Free Nintendo. I think they do kind of a crazy job of, they are not really news focused, and they're kind of just they're more of a comedy podcast than overall gaming, and I appreciate them for it. I also listen to Stuff You Should Know, which is a completely different podcast that just kind of goes into different topics every week and explores kind of the history behind them. And I love the way that those guys actually explain things and how they are really clear and concise about, getting to the real meaning of certain things, whether that's like so-called paranormal phenomenons, or just like, how does popcorn work and things like that. So I mean, it's a really fun show. And then probably my vote for the greatest of all time Nintendo podcast would actually be, and I know not everybody feels this way, but I think that Nintendo Voice Chat does a very good job. Just overall, they're generally very fun to listen to. They went through kind of a dark period for a little while there, but I really like hearing those guys, Per Schneider and all of them. I mean, they've got really good industry insight. So yeah, those are probably my three main podcasts that I listen to on any kind of regular basis.
For Stuff You Should Know, I mean, they're like veterans in the game. Like, they've been going on since 2008. Like,
they've been on forever.
Yeah. I mean, like, over 1,000 episodes. Like, that is incredible. Like, I mean, I could see why that is a podcast that you really appreciate. I mean, man, I mean, if hopefully we can get to that point, but that would be amazing. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, we'll see on that one, guys. No promise.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Shy Guy. If the Switch library ended with all of the announced games that we know are coming, but assumingly nothing else, would you consider the console a success? Or is there a glaring omission that would be a black mark on the console when we look back years from now? Okay, so everything that is announced is coming and nothing else. So Animal Crossing is safe, Metroid is safe, Luigi, so on. Would you guys call the Switch a success?
Well, I mean, F-Zero's coming too right now. I'm kidding. I honestly, I would. Yeah, I mean, gosh, like, just what we've been given for the past, like, couple years. I mean, you could have stretched it out for like 5 or 6, and man, it just all the indies and just so many games out there. Like, I would consider the console a success. I would actually think they overachieved. Like, they just there is no glaring omission. There's no black mark or gray or what have you. Like, they did. It's a success, and there's so much to play, even if they stop making games for the Switch. And I mean, to go through it all, I mean, like, you're probably spending the rest of your life playing all the games. So I think it's a success. There's no omission or whatever. Like, yeah, it's a success.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if the games that we know that are coming wouldn't be coming, like, it's only up to basically Fire Emblem, right? I mean, that's a really good one. I would say, oh man, I mean, not having an original Pokemon game, because we have the Let's Go, but that's more of a remake, and then
Yeah.
we wouldn't have Animal Crossing. That's a big omission, I think. Metroid Prime, I feel like, I mean, it's great, but we've gone so long without it that what's another generation, right? Like that.
Right.
Oh man.
And I mean, I love Luigi's Mansion, but
Send
same
your
thing.
emails too. Oh man, you threw Luigi in there too?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great series, right? But it's only getting a resurgence sort of recently. I mean, at first it was just the GameCube game.
Well, I mean, we got our biggest number one fan of Luigi, Peachy. I mean, he's looking forward to any game that's Luigi. Yeah.
Dark Moon was announced with the 3DS announcement. So I mean, that was they showed off Luigi's Mansion super early there. So it's been around.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been backburnered too much. But I mean, the way the question is even phrased, I mean, Luigi's still coming. Animal Crossing is still coming. And those would still
Right.
be coming even if
Yeah.
If you were to cut it right now, I would feel disappointed about the stuff we know about for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But with everything announced so far, yeah, it's hard to say any omissions. I cannot think of any. I guess if anything, do we consider Breath of the Wild to be a Switch exclusive Zelda, or do some of us still kind of tie it to the Wii U? I guess if anything, you may want like an original, 100% original Zelda game for it.
To me, it's Breath of the Wild is so linked to the to the release of the Switch that
Yes.
I understand it came out on Wii U and it was actually a good version. Like, some of my really good friends played it on Wii U and had a good time, but I mean, it's so directly tied to the Switch that I can't separate that in my mind. Kind of the same way that Twilight Princess to me is a Wii game. I know it came out on GameCube, but yeah, it just is. So,
Right.
so to me, I've got one glaring omission, and it's very glaring to me. I would still call the system a success, but yeah, Pikmin.
That's right.
Where the heck is Pikmin?
I almost forgot about that.
If they were to just say, yeah, the Switch is gone, I would definitely feel that one. Everything else, there are some games I'd love to see, like a new Mario Strikers or things like that I'm actually kind of looking forward to with this system as we kind of go through the years on it. But yeah, I think the only real glaring one would be Pikmin at this point.
Fair enough. I mean, Pikmin is a very important franchise to Nintendo, and I mean, there's gotta be a Pikmin game. I've already let go of Zero, so I'm not gonna worry about that for now. But I'm half joking. But yeah, I think it's.
Have you though?
Have I though? I have half-heartedly. Half-heartedly, I have.
Hey, dude, all you need to do, just follow me on this one. Go get a GameCube.
Okay. GameCube,
get a copy of F-Zero GX. It's going to be like a completely new game to you because you haven't played it. So, yeah, just close your eyes. Forget that you're holding a GameCube controller, but then otherwise, boom, new F-Zero. Perfect. That's all you need right there.
There's a lot of things I want to say about this, but I just cannot bring myself up to saying all those things other than that.
Screw you,
know.
Daryl. Stop talking.
No, not that. I'm not that rude. I'm not that rude. But what I would say is that I just don't know if I. It's gonna sound like a crappy excuse, but I don't know if I can do that. I just, I have Fire Emblem in my life right now, and it's just like, I mean, what am I gonna do when the students are trying to wait for me to teach them about stuff? I mean.
You can teach them about high-speed futuristic racing. Come on, this is not
that's
that
true.
hard.
Yeah, but I want to teach you about being a thief. Being thieves to save the world from like other destruction when the artifacts are not. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I would love to teach them to be good, honorable gentlemen and ladies, thieves. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, you know who is a thief? Samurai Goro.
Oh,
F-Zero character,
that-
for sure.
He is my favorite in the original F-Zero game.
Samurai Goro is a space thief whose motto is steal but never kill. Perfect character for you, Kevin.
You know
right
what,
there.
man? Awesome. I mean, that's the picture perfect model. I love his bandana as well. And yeah, he has a very good hovercraft machine. It has a good top speed. I don't know why I'm getting to this, but anyway, yeah,
All right, Sergio, next question.
Well, question by Shy Guy. He asks, if you knew you would be successful, say making double your current salary or something like that, Would you become a full-time or a professional game streamer? And based on the phrasing of the question, it sounds like you would be a successful streamer, regardless of which of us three it is, right? So yes, I would. And my streams would start at 3 in the morning with Rocket League,
Yo, the
and
surge.
it would be that would be the wild part of the stream with cursing and lots of yelling and everything. And then
Wait, what? Yo, sign me up. Yo,
Late nights with Sergio. I
Yo.
can see that.
can I
Like
be
a
a
fake
moderator?
a neon sign in the background just says like blinking open. Yeah, that'd be great.
Dang, that'll be good.
Dude, set your alarms. Get up and watch that.
I'm watching it. Hell yeah! I want to see Surge win and cuss and cuss more and win, and that's like 5 different things already. I mean, it's just good. Oh,
nice.
man.
But
Yeah.
then, half of the rest of the day it would be peacetime and talking about being kind and playing Animal Crossing and just loving friendship and everything.
Man, just that change up is so dramatic. I love it. I mean, yeah, okay, perfect. We'll do that. You would do
So,
that.
yeah, I mean, the way the question is phrased, if you knew you'd be successful, there are very few things I wouldn't do if I knew I'd be successful. Like making more money than I currently am. So I would have some hesitations about streaming, to be honest. It's kind of a lonely thing to do, and that's kind of I'm forming this opinion that full-time streamers have kind of a weird relationship with gaming that I don't know that I would want. But that said, I mean, if you're telling me I'm gonna make more, like double my salary playing video games all day, heck yeah, absolutely. At least for a while, we'll see exactly how it goes. But yeah, I would try it.
Nice. I mean, yeah, like I could see just the exposure, the attention you'll get, but for me, it's an easy absolutely not. I would never do that.
Oh,
Even if it's double salary, I would never do that. You would give if you give me double the salary, 235% no, because I don't like I don't like how you're being exposed so much to where, to the point where they're watching you so much, and then when the toxicity comes in, it's a lot of stress. I don't know if it's worth it. And for me, even though I do like to get to know people and talk to just be a conversationalist here and there with like certain people, but I'm in the part of my life where I don't need that validation to know a lot of people. I don't need to have that exposure, that attention. I would rather spend that time with music, because that is my bigger passion. If it were music, absolutely, but for streaming games, I will never do that, and you can quote me on that. Like, I will never take it back. I don't think it's not for me. It's just not a viable thing. I do, as much as I love playing video games, and I did stream several times in the past. I just don't feel comfortable, and it's just not something that I would like to do. Now, like I said before, if it were music, oh my gosh, I'm on board for sure. That is something that, like, that's how I want to tell my story. Like, to be able to tell my story through playing music, that to me is a much more fulfilling validation of how I want to live my life, and be able to share with that. And making double the salary with that would be just icing on the cake. So, yeah, bit little
Fair
answer.
enough.
Yeah, it's a little answer, but I feel very strongly about that. So,
Next question,
Okay.
Kevin.
Okay, all right. Whew, man. Okay, let me just. Whew, let's. Which question? Let me think. Wow. Man, I had a break. This is kind of tough. I don't know which one. Yeah, I got a little tense there. Sorry about that. I was very like I already had like I was getting ready to unload on that question if we were asked. Okay. Now we're back. So the question that I would like to choose for my next one is by Cube. What non-video game franchise do you want to have a good video game of? And what video game franchise would you like to see in other forms of media? Yeah.
Non-video game franchise.
Yeah. Oof.
I want to see a video game of Agretzko. I think that would be really fun. I think that show, if you have not seen it, it's amazing. I
it is
really,
really
really
good.
like that show. It's this the same company that does Hello Kitty and such, but it's very different than that. Just watch a trailer for it. It's hard to explain. Very, very good. So I think you could probably make kind of a hilarious video game around Agretzko doing daily office tasks and then going to scream metal over karaoke. Yep, there'd be kind of a Battle Chef Brigade type gameplay loop there. I think it'd be pretty nice actually. So that would be there's my non-video game franchise. What video game franchise would you like to see in other forms of media? Cringing as I say this, Zelda. Absolutely, Zelda. I think it needs more non-video game exposure. So yeah, Zelda.
I'm going to be a shameless plug as well for I can't even say it. How do you say it again? Agretzo? How do you say it?
Agretzko.
Agretzko. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me for my pronunciation. It is I binge watched the entire season 1 and there's season 2. Oh my goodness! I gotta watch the first episode. Did you watch season 2 yet, or the first episode yet?
Absolutely.
Oh man, I'm missing out. I'll watch it later. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Sergio, what do you think?
Man, I wish I could say, if for anybody that knows the TV series 24,
Yes.
Oh,
I
good
wish
call.
that could be a game, but it
Ooh.
already is for the PS2, and I think it was pretty bad. So,
Oh.
We can ignore that. We can ignore that. There is no 24 video game. So there we go.
well, that's one. Or if we kind of have to believe that it exists, then I would want either like a prequel or a sequel or something like Death Note in an adventure game.
Nice.
Wow, that is great. Ooh.
And as for a video game franchise that I want outside of video games, I just want an Animal Crossing Saturday morning cartoon. I think it would be great.
That would be great, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It-
nice and simple.
You capped it off nicely with Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That would be good.
I can buy it.
Ooh, man, you know what? There's already been a game on the PS2 for this, but Cowboy Bebop. I mean, I just want to see another. I want to see a Switch game of Cowboy Bebop. One of my favorite animes of all time, if not my favorite, like my most favorite. It is. There's a game on PS2 for Cowboy Bebop, and I never played it, but it's called, and I'm gonna butcher it. Suioku no Serenade. Suioku no Serenade. I totally butchered that. Released in 2005.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I probably did.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I butchered it for sure. And there's a video game for it already, but if it weren't, if that didn't exist, I would choose that. But my real answer would be, man, Iron Chef. Oh my goodness, I would want to play a video game of Iron Chef. I love the series, from Food Network, and I know it makes no sense, but for some reason, I just want to be like, one of the Iron Chefs competing against like random challengers who are trying to, trying to get the win. And I can imagine, on the Switch, like having the Joy-Cons, like cutting the fish, or cooking things. And I don't even know where I'm going, but Iron Chef, man. Not Iron Chef America. Well, no, okay, fine, Iron Chef America. I'm saying that because I do like Iron Chef the original a bit more than Iron Chef America. I feel like Iron Chef has this mystique. It was a bit more. It wasn't as dramatic as Iron Chef America, so I would say Iron Chef. I want a video game about Iron Chef series, not Iron Chef America. Although if they do have Iron Chef America, I would, that would be fun. Okay.
Okay.
I know. It's weird, but I mean, I was gonna say Good Eats with Alton Brown because I love that show, but
That's a good show too.
yeah, but and there's gonna be a reboot. I'm so excited. Anyway, okay. Now for a video game franchise that I would like to see in other forms of media, man, I mean, I would like to see. I would like to see F-Zero, man. I want to see like a movie. There's already anime, but I want to see like a movie of it. Real life. I want to see like books written about it. More manga. I just want just more F-Zero, and I guess I should play the GameCube version.
Yeah, I was gonna say here's what you do.
Here's what you do. This is what you
Go buy a GameCube. Yeah. All right, I digress. I do want to say, kudos for this question being the easiest thing that you could have said Ocean's 11 to, but you did not. So
I did not. You know
there
what?
you go.
Because I know if I did, you would not like you would say some things, and then we would go into this. I don't know. I think it would have been too much, and I just
Ocean's 12.
You know what? I actually like that movie. I know it didn't get a lot of good reviews, but it was really nice for some of it. Like I like the heist. I think the plot was kind of weird, but I mean the way they wrapped it all up, yeah. But we could do an Ocean's 13, yeah.
Movie reviews with Kevin. Here we go.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna plug this in here. Now one of my coworkers, one of my coworker friends from way before, or just from a while back. His name is Billy. He has a new podcast called The Movie Grader and Friends. So if you love movies, please check him out. He's awesome, and he grades movies from I think A to F or whatever. So yeah, we will provide a link for you, followed with the recording. So Movie Grader and Friends. I hope I got that right. Sorry. Yes, the Movie Grader and Friends podcast. Got it. It's on. Yeah, just check it out. For my coworker friend Billy, shout out to Billy. He's part of our Discord community as well. Billy Madden. So check out that podcast. That's all I got.
So yeah, last question from brand new writer, actually, Shy Guy's daughter, who I am now affectionately going to refer to as Shydette.
Nice.
Shy Guy, Toadette, there you go, Shydette. Writes in, how come Bowser only spits fire and not lava? Okay. He's a dragon. So dragons traditionally spit fire. He's actually also weak to lava, so yeah, it wouldn't.
Oh, good point.
The best thing I can tell you is that he kind of controls fire. He can't control lava, even though he fills his castle with it for some reason. Anyways, so yeah, that's my best answer. You guys have anything else? Why would Bowser breathe fire and not lava?
Oh, absolutely, man! I got a good one for this one. I hope it's good. If you spit out lava, it's too sloppy. It just looks weird. Like, can you imagine him spitting lava? It's messy. It doesn't look good.
It's less controllable. It destroys stuff that he doesn't intend to destroy.
He might destroy himself before he even reaches his intended target. Like, do you want a villain to do that? Nah. You want to spit fire. And that refers to
you can direct
rap.
fire, and I mean he's very good at it too. He shoots these fire balls that just travel straight forever. I mean, that's pretty impressive, actually. You can't do that with lava. Lava arcs.
Yeah. Even the way it sounds, you can't say spit lava. It doesn't sound great. When you say spit fire, oh hell yeah, he's gonna spit fire. So I'm imagining him like rapping and spitting fire at the same time, which is not gonna. But anyway. Okay.
My name is Bowser, and I'm here to say. And then the second part of her question, specifically for me, actually. So thank you. When you play Rocket League with my dad, how come you score all the goals and he just drives around? So I want to take a step back, and I want to say that I understand that may be how you perceive it to be happening, but I do want to take a step back because I want to give a quick shout out to your dad, Shy Guy, who is an incredibly selfless co-op partner in all games. So, I mean, that is actually by design. He is going out of his way to set me up for success. And honestly, that's just admirable. I think I really want to say, Shy Guy and Shydette, your dad is admirable. You should definitely respect him. So, I definitely do. I think we all do here. So, yeah. So thanks for the question. I know that may be how it looks, but no, he's definitely contributing to the success of the team. So, yeah, I want to make that very, very clear.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I second that. For me, I've been very fortunate to have TJ or Shy Guy be just to have a teammate on the same team. Him and Aero, so shout out to Aero as well. With Shy Guy, he is the most modest and humble individual I've ever met in my life. And I've met a lot of people. Like the dude exudes confidence, but at the same time, he just tries to make it seem like he doesn't take any credit. But you deserve a lot of credit, my man. Like, I mean, as a team player, as a captain at times, better suited as a captain than I am for our team. And
I mean, sometimes the ball is bouncing across the goal line, and he specifically drives past it on purpose so that I can get a goal. I mean, what kind of guy does
I
that?
mean,
That's just
that's a driven plan for success. Like,
that is a stand-up dude. So yeah.
and also like he's just a very good guy. Like he very just really modest. And I mean, he was a guest on the show, and he said that he wasn't even at his best form. But boy, I tell you, it was really really good. Like I mean, the way he was talking to you two. I mean, like the pond. I mean, yo, that's a classic. I mean, the guy's a jokester.
Hashtag pond life. There you
Pond
go.
life, and he's too modest. I think that is something that I've noticed. But man, when he's on his game, you better watch out because he's spitting fire. I mean, he just knows what to say. He knows how to say it.
Spits fire, not lava.
Spits fire, not lava.
Let's be clear
That's
here.
right. Fire's clear, lava's sloppy. Quote that right here, right now. Okay, so Shy Guy's awesome.
Definitely thanks for that question. The
Yeah.
two questions, actually. That is awesome. And thanks to everybody for all the questions that you did send in. This was fun. And we actually have, like, I asked earlier today for some questions. We got a ton more than we could actually hit today. So those are all going to go on the list. We'll do another one of these sooner than this one was. So yeah, definitely. If you have listener mail, please keep sending it in, and we'll handle it this way. But in the meantime, we asked you guys a question. So, and we asked ourselves a question, and I don't know if you guys thought about this, but so the question was, if you were a character, or if you were kind of like the students in Fire Emblem and you could change your path to become something else, whether that's career-wise or something as a person, change your course of life into a new field to better yourself or try to find something you like, what would it be? So, Kevin, did you think about this at all?
I did. I did, and I don't want to use a thief one. I do not want to use a gentleman thief, so I'm gonna say something different. I would.
That requires a lot of training.
Yeah, I would.
Again, we do not condone this.
We
Listeners,
don't. I would be. Okay, so I'm thinking about this one movie that I can't remember the name, but it had to do with kung fu, and then there was this one scene where the guy plays an instrument. It's like a Chinese instrument, but it does attacks. So I would. You know what was that movie called? I am so bad with this. Like, Kung Fu something. It's not Kung Fu Panda. Okay, we're not talking about that. No Tigers or Poe. Like it's like, okay. We'll think about it later. But I would be a musician, and I think that would be what I would want to gear towards. Yeah, straight up. No thieves, no thieving. Not this time. I know it's the easy answer to say.
it's not usually the easy answer to say that.
Maybe for me.
maybe for you. I would be a full-time streamer, as we discussed already. No, I'm kidding.
Now, I just want to say something real quick about that, and I know that I said what I said about streaming. I do respect those who do stream. I think it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. You're being exposed to the public in such a way that you're gonna be thrown a lot of like bad stuff at times. I just personally, for me, I just don't think it's for me. That's all I have to say. So, like,
why you gotta crap all over my new career, man? I don't get it. Like I just said, that's what I want to do, but then you come in and you're like, nah, that's not for me. I'm gonna go play some music, man. I don't get it, man.
Oh no! Oh no!
And we'll talk after this. Anyways,
Yeah.
so it's actually kind of funny. So Shy Guy actually said he's a current teacher. He said he'd choose to be a carpenter. I mean, cool. That's awesome. I am an engineer, which is, I do a lot of stuff with my hands, building stuff and things. Not that much unlike a carpenter. I would choose to be a teacher. Actually, I would go actually teach high school if I could. And I think one, that would be good for me. Two, I think there's a lot of things that there's a lot of space there. I think we need to, protect our teachers and take care of them because they're doing a lot of work to try to train up the next generation, right? And ultimately, I plan to at some point in my life be a part of that. I really do want to. So yeah, that would be my question, my answer to the question, Sergio.
Nice. Well, I feel like I know what my budding talent would be. I don't know if that's kind of cheating, the fact that I know, but
you know what your 3 stars are?
yeah, I know I would really be a very good computer programmer, and it's always been in the back of my mind. If I had more time, definitely, if I had a lot more free time, I would for sure go for that, and I know I would be really good at it because I know I would really like it. So that's mine. Another answer that we got from our listeners is by Dragon. He says he would probably want to be a writer. This is one of his earliest dreams in life. And also by Chewy, who is into marketing, and he says, well, one of many other things. Basically anything but marketing.
Yep. That sounds right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Dapper Dan Man, if I wasn't a tailor, I'd either be a baker or if the teacher really believed in me, a visual artist. Nice. Cube, who is... but if I had to choose a career, it would be in game design. There you go.
That is good. And, I mean, yeah, game design was one of those things that I think a lot of us, thought about doing when we were a lot younger. And then, unfortunately, with the current state of the industry and depending on where you end up in which company, it isn't the most viable, it isn't the most stable job, but I think it is very fulfilling. So, I mean, if Cube were to become a game designer, I mean, I really hope that he, does really well and has a stable, just stable income because it is very tough. And I speak on behalf of people that I know who are in the game industry. It is very tough out there. And so, knock on wood. And I do want to make a comment. Teaching, that's awesome. A very, very underrated occupation. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in Europe it is one of the most highly valued occupations, and they get paid a lot more than in America. I don't know why that is. Why do we not value our teachers as well as they do in Europe? I mean, there's a lot of factors. I don't want to get into them, but and Sergio, being a programmer, as a programmer by trade, both programming and in that plus quality engineering, I do. I think it's a great occupation to get into. It is fulfilling, and you are creating things that will benefit others for the long run. So, you guys chose really good ones.
Maybe not. I mean, you can make some really bad programs. You could be creating the things that just annoy people for the rest of their lives. But okay.
But we gotta be optimistic here. I mean, he could have been a thief that tries to go around the world.
He could create AI that comes up and destroys us all. I mean, this may not be a good thing, man.
All right. Well, I think ethics come into play, and I think if Sergio were to be a programmer, he would do it for good. He's KK Slider. I mean, there's no bad. Come on.
He wants to kill everybody in his video game. He said that earlier.
All right, so there you have it. Programmer Sergio. So yeah.
This man is a mystery. Who is this person?
I don't know.
Let's turn this timeline into the worst timeline.
Yeah.
Actually, Sergio, I would think if not a programmer for you, you would be like a audio engineer. You know, because you love headphones. You're
Yeah,
really good with
that too.
sound. You're like the number one headphone sound guy, or just person that I know. You know, just very like very into the sound quality, and you do give really good advice with headphones. And I have to say again, the monoprice modern retros, those are really good. I still have them. I still use them.
Yeah, we are not sponsored by them, but we all three have them, and they're
We
good.
all, yeah.
So
they
there
are
you
really
go.
good. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Sergio might be sponsored by them at this point, but hey, as far as I know, we're not sponsored by them. So, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I would say
All
so.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do we have a question for this week for everyone?
Yes, we do.
Ooh.
And we're going back a little bit to our after show discussion from our previous live episode, which, by the way, we do that. We still talk a little bit after our recordings when they're live. So if you're ever able to tune in, definitely do.
I tell some of the
Interesting
best stories.
conversations we have, yeah.
You do. You do.
And going back to that last one, we are asking this week, what is your favorite accent?
Nice. I like that.
Man.
Oi, governor. No, that's not it.
No.
Mary Poppins. Yeah, no.
That is a tough one, you know, because I kind of have a half-hearted fake accent. No, I don't. No, me, but I don't. Awesome is
Just
not.
don't
an
lose
accent.
it. Yep.
No, I don't lose. I won't lose it. No, but I'm gonna think about this one. I have a few in mind. I don't know which one is my all-time favorite, but we'll
There it
figure
is.
it out.
I like Kevin's disappearing accent. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's the only place you can hear basketball become basketball every once in a while.
Basketball. I mean, I will talk about the originator of that later on.
Yeah, tell it on a story in a live episode. There you go.
Actually, I will. You know
Yeah.
what? You will hold me to it. You too.
Yes,
sir.
I will.
Okay. I will. We will talk about that. That's man. I'll think about the answer for this question. So.
Nice. So, yeah, for our listeners, definitely let us know again what is your favorite accent. And going a little bit further back too, keep letting us know or sending us your Splatfest ideas. We're gonna be doing our own private Splatfest. We have a few ideas already. We definitely want a lot more. We're thinking probably we'll compile them all and then do a poll and see which ones we're gonna be going with. And we still need to figure out how it's gonna work. But definitely keep sending us your ideas for what you want to fight for in Splatoon 2.
Decoy versus Dragon.
Whoa. So those are teams or those?
Just laying that one out there. Challenge thrown.
Ooh.
Wait, I have one too. Wave versus Dragon. 1 set, 6 games. Mario Tennis Aces.
Nice.
Simple mode.
I'm Team Dragon there. But anyways.
Oh my god. Yo, man. Okay. You know what? I should have said thief for my answers. I'm just
Nah, it's fun.
Actually, honestly, I could see why you would pick Dragon. He is the better Mario Tennis Aces player. But this is simple mode, and I am better at simple mode than standard mode. So I'm just saying that right now. That is I'm comparing my simple mode game to my standard mode game. I'm better in simple mode, but Dragon is, like I said in the previous episode, he is, I think, the number one Mario Tennis Aces player in the world. I don't care what anyone else says. He is the number one, but I think I have a shot. So I'm coming at you, Dragon. You know, in the most healthy, competitive way possible. Hopefully, I can hold my own. No, what I mean to say is, we're gonna have a good time. So,
What I mean to say is, you're going down, brother.
You're going down, Dragon, because the wave is coming. Oh, okay. That's enough.
Well, that turned into something. Anyways, yes, send in your Splatfest ideas, and we will definitely consider them and ultimately drop them in favor of Decoy versus Dragon. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We will do some real ones, multiple,
No,
because this is gonna be fun.
Yes. Wait. What about Sergio versus? Yeah.
Sergio versus the world. There
Oh,
we go.
no. Sergio versus Chewy.
Oh.
Okay, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Haken, yeah.
Dude.
Haken versus Nintendo Jump. Let's do this.
Yo. Okay. Oh man.
Challenge throne. Pick your
Man.
game. I don't care.
I was gonna say Splatoon 2. That would be pretty good.
It doesn't matter. And,
Okay.
and Sergio has 2 accounts, so he could literally play on both teams. This is great.
Yo, this is good. Oh man. Okay.
All right. So with that, Sergio,
yeah.
please save us.
Yeah.
Please.
Save us.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We're going to jump out of here. If you haven't already, feel free to join our Discord group. We have a great community of people to play games with. We would love to have you there as well. So if you're interested, the description for this episode has a link to our Discord. Other than that, we have a Facebook group, and we are also on Twitter and Instagram as Nintendo Jump. And you can listen to all of our episodes on YouTube as well. Please send us any feedback you have at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, the best way to do so is through our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NintendoJump. And another way to support would be by leaving a review for the show in your favorite podcast application. Either way you choose, we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Definitely keep sending us your music suggestions for our upcoming music episode. You can do so via email or via Discord. Keep sending them in, everyone, and thank you so much. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Daryl and Kevin, thanks for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.